Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here today, very lucky to be here today with Josh Phegan on video. Nostradamus of real estate, I always call him. Every time he says something, he predicts it pretty well. So just wanting to get a bit of an understanding. I know we've been chatting for the last 2 years, doing a lot of training with you, with our team. And every time you say something, it tends to happen.
So I think that the big conversation is like always having a look at data and insight. So when you've got a real estate agent who's really good at what they do, like Unique, you have a look at things and you can react and move quite quickly. What we're seeing really clearly is that eastern suburbs of Sydney is really quite strong, and Sydney is quite strong. And it's very different compared to what's actually happening across the rest of the country. There's some very prohibitive land taxes in Victoria, which is causing a lot of investors to have to sell. Extra land tax they've got to pay over the course of the next 10 years. Adelaide's booming, a lot of conversation around Brisbane, a lot of great booming stuff happening in Perth. And those markets are probably overheating because there's a lot of affordability. The interesting conversation is that what you've got to realise is that we've had the cheapest interest rates ever in recorded history, back during the COVID era. And right now we're probably seeing the most expensive money that people have witnessed over the course of the last 13 or 14 years. Circa 2011-ish was about the last time we had interest rates at this level. Basically what it means on like a $4 million property, maybe it's like $14,000 a month, now $24,000 a month in terms of serviceability. That's a big difference about how many people are going to be able to afford that. Why is Sydney so resilient? Population growth, lots of good quality generational wealth, people in a position, it's a really desirable area, there's really good quality incomes across the greater Sydney region. What is really important to realise though is that we achieved a really significant growth rate. What I'm saying to most people is that maybe in some markets we've seen 5 or 6 years worth of growth delivered in like 18 months. In a very short period of time. And so therefore, that now that money's the most expensive, there's less people that are going to be like that. So it's important that the agent you choose is going to have a really significant bearing on the sale price that you receive. And a lot of that has got to come down to the fact that we're seeing record restaurant closures, and then off the back of that, we're seeing a lot of availability of used cars. And they're two early indicators about how consumers are feeling. Now that does not mean that property prices are going to tank, industry comes off, any of those things. But what it does mean is that naturally now's a more certain time to actually trade. So if you were to be transacting, if you had $1 million property and you wanted to buy the $2 million one, and you had the ability to afford that, then now would be a really good time to do that because it's more stable.
And it's easier to bridge that
Easier to predict where that one's going to sell for and where that one's going to sell for. Whereas in previous markets it was a bit runaway, and you're like every single time you went to go and buy, you actually got priced out of the market. So what do we see? August and September tend to be really good quality times to take properties to market to maximise sale price. October and November start to get a bit of a flood of extra properties that are left over. If the buyers aren't there and there's that extra amount of properties, by the time you get to early December, you can actually start to see a lot more distressed selling. So our argument has always been that when we're working with our clients and we're advising, we say, okay, great, August and September are really great periods to go and do it. Check in with you as an agent about how October and November are going if you really need to do something before Christmas. But actually understand the timing of a sale is going to be massively important. And what your agent actually does around the buy work, their sales process, is massively important to getting a great sale price.
No, I totally agree, Josh. And it's really good to hear because we're seeing that quite much on the back end, but obviously you're dealing with so many different real estate agents in so many different markets. So like I said, the Nostradamus of real estate, it's good to hear from you.
Awesome. So great to see you. Thanks so much.